Welcome back to the Black Buckeye Podcast. I'm your boy, Chris. And today we're going to talk about NFL free agency, man. Y'all know I got a hit on my Bengals. And what's going on with Jay Fields, bro? But let's talk about it next on the Black Buckeye Podcast. Like I said, man, this is all Ohio sports here, man. We're not just talking about the Buckeyes. We gotta talk about the Bengals, man. We'll talk about the Browns later, but fuck them for real though. But I appreciate y'all for coming back. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. But we're gonna jump right into it. Cincinnati Bengals, y'all. I've been getting teased by my fellow podcasters. I have another podcast called Yeah, I Said It. And the entire division is pretty much for the most part represented in there. There are fans of the other teams in the division, but mainly the Ravens and the Steelers. And they've been teasing me, man. You know, the Ravens just signed Derrick Henry. Um, the Steelers went and signed Patrick Queen. They traded Deontay Johnson. They got a cornerback and some picks, and they're feeling great. And they're just taunting me. You only got the safety from Baltimore, and he ain't really that good. And listen, he had a lot of interceptions last year. He had a lot of interceptions. He played pretty well, but I'm not here to talk about him for real. I'm just telling. I want to tell y'all how I'm feeling. As a Bengals fan, I honestly never really expect a whole lot from the Cincinnati Bengals when it comes to trading players, and when it comes to signing players in free agency. That I've just come to expect that for the most part, we're not going to do a lot. We're not going to shock the world. We're not going to do something that's going to be earth shattering. And, a lot of people were very excited when Derrick Henry just signed with the Ravens. A lot of people were very excited when Patrick Queen decided he wanted to play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, and not a lot of people was excited about the Bengals moves. But I'm here to tell you, I like what they did. And if a lot of people are paying attention, let's really talk about this. Um, a lot of people win NFL free agency, and that's great and all, and y'all spend a lot of money and y'all do a lot of things. If you pay attention, those teams never really win the championship. When you get the big free agency signing and he done made 117 million over 4 years, more likely than not, the team still either stinks or they go backwards or they pretty much stay the same. And if you're paying attention to the real people that are in free agency are really addressing issues that they had throughout the season. And I like what the Bengals have done. You know, we traded for the safety from Baltimore. I do think that helps free up Dax Hill a lot more. He got a lot more room to roam. I think that's a good move. But the move that I like better is at the fact that we signed Mike Gesicki. We signed Mike Gesicki to a 1-year deal. Um, Honestly, this is the move that I wanted to happen last year, but somehow the Patriots stole him away, or the Bengals didn't make him enough of a priority to sign him away from the Dolphins. But he went to the Patriots last year, and we all know what kind of quarterback back play they had, and they did not make him a priority. I think last year he had 45 targets, 29 receptions for 244 yards at 8.4 yards a catch, and he had 2 touchdowns. The longest ball he caught was 18 yards. He's a 29-year-old tight end who I've always liked. He's very much more of a pass catching tight end. We already have a blocking tight end. As if you're a Bengal fan, you know who that is. Um, and we went on ahead and re-signed him, and we got a tight end that I really really like. Mike Gesicki play. He just needs the opportunity to be able to do the things that he can do. I think that he is going to be great because me as a Bengal fan, I know we don't have any tight end. We didn't have any tight end that was consistently good enough to take over the middle of the field. That frees up our receivers on the outside. It frees them up when they're doing crossing routes. And then people forget about the tight end because that's how TJ Huzama got paid from the Jets. Because hey, you worried about Chase, you worried about Higgy, you worried about Boyd. Here comes TJ, and he stepped up a lot. I think this is definitely an upgrade at the tight end position with Mike Gesicki. It's definitely an upgrade, especially his pass catching. Um, from a pass catching point of view, I like this. I love this signing. I wanted him last year. I wanted them to trade for him 2 years ago. I wanted Mike Gesicki for a long time, and we finally got him. To be honest with you, I'm excited. I'm happy that we did this. It wasn't like a super big splash because he had a really, really down year. I think he's only 28. He'll be turning 29 later on this year. I really, really like this signing. It's what I said we needed in the draft. And now I don't have and the great thing about that is they're addressing needs that now we can address something else in the draft, which is awesome, which is great for me, you know. And people have to understand that this is what free agency is for. It's not really to make the big, bold splash signing all the time. It's about addressing your needs at a reasonable rate, finding gems that people aren't even thinking about. People didn't scout or vet, or people just think, oh, he's washed up. People really forget how good Mike Gesicki is. He's never really had a quarterback that is as good as Joe Burrow. I'm digging this, man. I'm really digging this. And his best season was 2021. He caught 73 balls for 780 yards, 10 yards a catch. He had 2 TDs. His longest TD was for 40 yards. And at that time, my man, as good as Tua is, he ain't Joe Burrow. We all know that. He ain't Joe Burrow. But I think that this definitely addresses a huge need for the Cincinnati Bengals. Thank God that we were able to address that. Now, who we go after next remains to be seen. I definitely have to address the elephant in the room. Y'all know I got to talk about it. T. Higgins said he wants to be traded. Apparently, Cincinnati has not had any contract negotiations with T. Higgins in over a year or in about a year. He demanded a trade later on last week. It being today is Tuesday. He demanded a trade. He asked for a trade. He wants out. If you don't want to pay me, let me go. They did franchise tag him. That's going to pay him about $20 million. But he wants security, and quite frankly, he's earned it. He's earned that money. The Bengals are looking towards the future. And what if we pay this man top 10, top 15 receiver money, but how are we going to sign Chase? Chase is the top 10, top 5 receiver. How are we going to sign Chase? How are we going to sign a lot of the other guys and pieces that we have coming up? Um, we did just get rid of Joe Mixon on the trade. They traded Joe Mixon when they were going to release him. They traded him to the Texans. Um, I like the moves that they made. I really didn't appreciate they haven't signed T. Higgins to a long-term deal, which I understand. Me personally, I think the Bengals are traditionally petty, and they franchise tagged him, and that's just what it's going to be. But I think that this is an opportunity for them to go ahead and either pay him, negotiate a new contract, or trade him. Don't force this man who will be unhappy and playing not to get injured this season when you can just re-sign him. So I think the best thing for the Bengals to do is acquiesce to his trade demand and figure out what they can get for him and move on. I know as Bengals fans, I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds crazy because everybody loves T. Higgins. I do too, you know. But if they're not gonna pay him, don't be petty. This is not a Jonah Williams situation where you all you did was just change his position. You didn't want to pay this man. You haven't wanted to pay him. You're trying to get it all the way up to the point to where we don't have to pay him. Nah, dog, that's not cool. I think we should go ahead and move on and figure out what we should do from there. See if you can get a first round pick for him. If you can, go ahead. Just make sure it's not in the division. Trade him to the NFC somewhere. Trade him over there. So we ain't got to see him. That's the best. That's the perfect scenario for the Cincinnati Bengals. You got to sit him somewhere where you don't have to see him twice a season, twice a year, or once a year, only every other couple years. But I think that's the best. The best thing for them to do is to go ahead and let him go because I don't think they're trying to pay him, and I think he realizes that. I realize that, and as all Cincinnati Bengals probably at this point has realized they're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him what he wants. Let him go somewhere where he can make the money he wants. And at this point, we all understand loyalty is some bullshit. Ain't no loyalty in this game. They ain't loyal to the players, and the players shouldn't be loyal to them either. And they should just go ahead and move on. But look out for them. You know what I'm saying? Trade them to the NFC somewhere. Trade them to somebody who has 2 first-round picks. The Chicago Bears. I'm just saying. Chicago Bears. I mean, they out there. Last but not least, guys, uh, Justin Fields. Here's my take on it. Like I said, this is Ohio Podcast. I'm going to talk about past Ohio State Buckeyes that are in the NFL, Ohio State Buckeyes currently. I gotta address this because it has been everywhere, every day, all day, and I'm getting tired of the media coverage as far as where is Justin Fields going to go and who is he going to go with. And if I'm talking to the GM, me personally, I read the whole situation differently from how everybody else did. He said in his press conference, meaning the GM, if you are not familiar, he said he wants a quarterback. When you draft a young quarterback, he wants him to be in the right situation to develop him. You can't just draft a quarterback and expect him to be good, especially when your locker room isn't as good as you need it to be for a young quarterback. But I think we have the kind of locker room, is what he said. I'm paraphrasing here. I think we have the kind of locker room that will be able to support somebody like that. Okay. If that is true, he also said that he wanted to do right by Justin Fields if he decides to trade him. And if he decided to trade him, he was going to do it or try to do it before free agency started. Free agency started 2 days ago. And that was 2 days ago. He said he wanted to do it before then. You already had everybody up in Indy for the combine, is where he made his deal last year. He didn't make a deal. He didn't trade Justin. He didn't trade the number one pick, which I feel like they should do. And I feel like this is kind of, this is the game. This is how business is done. You know, it's the team first and then the player second. So I understand that this sucks for Justin. I hate that for him, but my boy, this is the league you signed up for, and that's the name of the game. Unfortunately for you. And me as an Ohio State fan, speaking strictly as an Ohio State fan, um, if they keep him, I feel like it's the right move, but you have to trade the number one pick. If they don't keep him and they trade him away somewhere, you're going to regret it. And I think they realize that. Like they're kind of stuck in a rock between a rock and a hard place. And I kind of, quite frankly, if y'all decide to trade him, it's probably going to be one of your dumbest moves. because I feel like they're succumbing to the pressure of everybody says you have to pick Caleb Williams number one, which I don't believe he's the best player in the draft. When you are consistently picking in the top 10 of the NFL draft, you have to take the best player available. And I don't believe Caleb Williams is that guy. He's not the best player in this draft. And you need to address a lot of the needs that you have on your team before you can need to address the quarterback. The quarterback should be the last thing you address on your team. That is how you build teams. A la, what do you think the Kansas City Chiefs is doing so great for? The first thing they addressed was not the quarterback. That was the last piece they needed. So if you're going to do that to Justin and trade the motherfucker. We don't give a shit if he stay in Chicago. I don't think at this point, I don't think he gives a shit if he stays in Chicago. I think he was like, it was the politically correct thing to say, yeah, I love Chicago. It's cool. You've been playing with me for the past 2 years. This 2 years in a row, you done play with me and try to play with my emotions. You know I don't have the weapons to succeed at this place right now. You know we don't have the infrastructure to succeed at this place. And another thing that people don't talk about, the wind is too strong to be throwing the ball during the winter months in the wind. Like you see when their kickers kick the ball and how far to the right or how far to the left it goes. It's a terrible place to play when you don't have a dome. I watched the Bengals game last year when the Bengals played, I think the Browns, and it was raining, and it was just a terrible football game that we watched. I mean, we all know that Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he looks garbage. But also, even with the bad weather, you don't have receivers for him to throw to besides DJ Moore. What are you expecting him? What success are you expecting this young man to have? Especially when you look at the tape, and a lot of people say that Caleb Williams is basically Justin Fields. Well, he's a more talented version of Justin Fields. What? How? Is he a better scrambler? No. Is he a better thrower of the football? Some people will say yes. I say remains to be seen. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I don't really trust Pac-12 defenses and their defensive lines. And it's going to look exactly the same. You're going to be in the exact same predicament that you just put Justin Fields in. Why would you do that? Just draft the best player available or trade the pick, step back, get your receiver to help out Justin, get your offensive tackle to help out Justin. And then when you get to your second and they don't have a second round pick, but when you get into your third rounds, start to address the offensive line more, even more. Start to address it in the free agency. Like these are things that you guys have to do and the things that you should do. And me as a Buckeye fan, if I'm keeping 1,000, I don't really give a fuck what y'all do. Just let the man know where he's supposed to go. If he's staying, let him know that you're keeping him. If you're giving him up, let him know that we're gonna give you up and we're trying to get you to a place where it's gonna be at least okay for you. And all of these rumors is coming out. Me personally, I don't think that they're gonna trade him. I think they're going to keep him. I think they're going to trade the number one pick. I think that that's the smart move. I think that's how you build teams. The way you build teams is from the inside out. Offensive line, defensive line, wide receivers, running back, then quarterback. That's how teams are built. That's how you sustain your team. That's how you win Super Bowls. I'm gonna say it again. That's how you win Super Bowls. Now you already have your quarterback here. If you decide to stick with Justin Fields, you already have your quarterback. Okay, that's cool. Great, cool. But build it around him. If you decided to go with the quarterback first, I understand that you didn't draft Justin Fields. Cool. Then build it around him. See what he can and can't be with the pieces that you choose. And if it doesn't work out, then you go get your guy. Next year, they're gonna hype up somebody else, some other new quarterback. And if he is as bad as y'all say he is, y'all gonna have the number one pick again. But also, it's gonna have a little bit of you in there. So the best thing for them to do is just to, try to hurry this shit up. We all tired of you playing around with this man, and I keep talking about him every single day, 24 hours. What's going to happen? We understand that you're trying to make moves, but my man, Rumors, y'all haven't even shopped him yet. Y'all haven't even offered him up to anybody yet to see what y'all can get for him. Meanwhile, everybody else got to make moves. They can't wait on you. You can't wait on them. So I think the best thing for them to do, I said it, keep them, trade the pick. But that's gonna be it for this week, guys. Continue to like, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching it. Please comment down below, man. I want to have a conversation with y'all. It's a community here, we have a conversation. I'm arranging, I'm trying to get together a live that I can do so we can all have a conversation live. Ask me something and I'll respond. We can have a conversation about that. If you agree about Justin Fields, you think he's an ass football player, you can say that. I can tell you why you're wrong, but we can have a conversation about it, you know. But continue to like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Please comment down below. Let me know how you feeling about the pod, man. If you got any questions, drop it down there. Till next week. Deuce.